Hi everybody, anybody, whoever's here. So I have two collectives here that I've been kind of tapping into. This is kind of gonna be a lengthy introduction, just because it's going to give a little bit more insight to which collective you may be a part of. For quite a while now, I've been getting this vision, this image of a wave crashing, and in the distance, another wave rising and emerging, and there's something significant there having to do with these two collectives. Now, this first collective here is represented by that first wave that is crashing, that wave that's reaching the shore, that wave that's kind of like, I want to say like ending its journey, but you know, not in a scary kind of way. It's kind of just representative of the spiritual journey, the initial awakening that has taken place, and that kind of stage coming to an end. So involved in this is more, those who have kind of gone through an intense spiritual awakening recently, but through an extended period of time, likely gone through a dark night of the soul of some sort, an ego death of some sort, and it's kind of like things are going to be feeling more stable, things are stabilizing within this collective, and like it's kind of like a big part of that journey is over, but a new one, obviously will begin in the same breath. Now with this second collective, this collective has yet to embark on that journey, and that's what this rising wave is representing. That there is a new wave, a new collective that is going to be going through a significant spiritual awakening, and it's on the rise. There are a few things I want to touch on before I dive into the cards, because I have been sitting with this message for quite a while. Honestly, it's been several months now, and I've been very hesitant and cautious. I take what I do very seriously. I don't take it lightly. So, I wait until things get to a certain point and I feel the green light from my spirit guides to share. Basically, one thing I do want to say is that there are going to be, I want to say like it's possible, but like I'm getting like, no, there are going to be people that are convinced that they belong to this first pile, this first collective that has gone through the spiritual awakening, that has gone through the dark night of the soul. Like there's people that are going to convince themselves that they belong to this collective when really they haven't really gone through those things yet. And I think there's a level of ego that's involved there, or I'm trying to find the right wording for this, because these people do have an intrigue, do have an interest, do have maybe walk some sort of spiritual path to a certain extent, that do have synchronicity, that do have certain things that like are like, yeah, like I'm spiritually awakened. But again, there's some level of ego involved there, that it's like you don't even know yet. like not to be too blunt about it, but it, like what Spirit is showing me is like it's almost like they received a sample of what life will be like, when it comes to the synchronicity and all of this. But there's still a big part of the journey there that has not been explored. and they actually belong to this second collective. Now, that might not be for everyone, and there's a real importance here, my second point, and a reason why this introduction is so lengthy. There's a real need for both collectives to really utilize their discernment. First of all, with like discerning like which collective I belong to, receiving the appropriate messages, not only from me, but from other readers, or not even in the spiritual realm, right? Just in life in general. Like, this need to strengthen discernment is a very important thing, and I'm getting that this second collective is going to be learning that lesson, and that's a highlighted thing in the beginning of this walk. This first collective has done that, knows like how to work that muscle, knows what that is and how to use it, and it's just being, again, just highlighted. Like, with that, I'm feeling that there may be new things arising on your path that is going to require you to use that discernment that you have learned to use, that you have, gone through the lessons time and time again. But it's like that is being pulled to the forefront. This first collective that has already that is coming to kind of a stable place on their path, that just went through intense spiritual awakenings. It's possible that you may be already walking in your purpose, already maybe utilizing your spiritual gifts in some way. But like, I'm seeing it as like this first wave came through and went through the walk and went through the journey, and now this first wave is intended to help assist the second wave, the new collective that's kind of coming in. And there's something there that needs to be said. Just be cautious. Just keep your ego in check is really what wants to come across. When you attain new levels of authority or power or whatever, like, and you're put in these higher positions, especially positions where you're able to help lead others, guide others, help others, heal others, assist others in such a significant way, especially, like, just keep your ego in check. That's going to, it can kind of flare it up, as you walk on that path, and Spirit just really wants you to keep in mind Spirit's intention above what your ego is liking, if that makes sense. Like there's a big purpose here, and you need to keep that at the forefront as you move through these things, and remember to keep the ego in check. Along with that, wow. My candle just started, like, it dripped. Wow, it's like leaking everywhere, and then the flame got really small. Typically when that happens, I don't even know if you can see the candle here, but typically when that happens, I see that as like a significant, like, spirit guide, ancestor communication. Sorry, I'm kind of getting with that, like, there's this, like, leaky energy, that there's something with the solar plexus chakra, your ego, there might be, like, digestive issues or something, leaky gut, is that a thing? I don't know, but also just, like, there's this energy leak in regards to the ego. Like, the soul has a purpose and intention, and when the ego gets involved, there's, like, inflammation, like, it's inflamed, and it kind of taints the work. It taints the work that comes through, even though the initial intention is pure. And so, again, there's just that need to keep the ego in check. Remember that this is, like, if you're really being called to this, like a soul purpose, a soul mission, there's like, it's bigger than just you and your little ego and just me down here. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I hope that you guys can see the cards here, but before I dive into all the layers that's kind of going on here, this card, I'm hoping that you can see it. This card here says the gifted guide, and you know, the deeper meaning behind the card and the imagery is different, but I am getting with this, like we were talking about, like you are actually the gifted guide. You are going to act as a guide of some sort or some sort of help to this other collective that is now like emerging. But there's also like this emphasis here that, you know, not to jump ahead of yourself. You need to let things unfold as they go. And let's see, we have the mirror. Self-reflection, writer, big picture. This may be confirmation that, you know, perhaps you have been contemplating writing something, like becoming an author, putting your experience into words. It doesn't have to be limited to that. It could be any kind of like creative thing, but this is maybe confirmation for someone there. Gateway Arch and the Lavender Moon. And we also have this moon card here, along with it is safe for me to feel my emotions. So there's a big emphasis around lunar energy, around emotions, and you know, I'm seeing that a lot here. We also have the self-reflection here, which can be, you know, an emotional time anytime we're doing that. This book says, did you forget all that you had to go through to be you? So I do feel that you are entering into this space of a calm way of being. I'm hearing like regulated nervous system. And with this knight's armor here, I'm getting that this has been a battle for you. It has been a war to try to get to this place of embodying this, of being able to be calm, to be able to have that regulated nervous system, to be able to relax, really is what I'm getting. And with this, did you forget all that you had to go through to be you? Like, it's your natural state of being to be this, to be calm, to be, I'm getting like a very flowing energy, like flowing. But for so long you were in this battle, you were in this war, and so in that way it was like a false self. I don't want to say false self because the journey was real, the journey was intense, right? But like this new space that you're entering into is the authentic, is the you know, higher vibrational self that you have been battling to get to. You have been fighting for this version of yourself, and you're finally getting there. You know, in this card, we have these butterflies here that represents the transformation that you have gone through. And it has been a transformation. And, you know, I do think that it is safe for me to feel my emotions. Wow, okay. Wow. I think that throughout this journey, this whole war, this battle that has taken place, like, a lot of it was in the emotional space, actually. And so I think throughout this journey, you've done a good job at learning how to navigate these different emotions, move through them, cope with them. And honestly, I think that part of you, with this nervous system regulation that's coming through, part of you feels, this is crazy, part of you doesn't know how to feel safe in the calm. Like, you know how to fight the war. You feel more comfortable, more safe, almost, as ironic as it is, in the chaos, in the war, in the difficult, darker emotions here. But with, like, it's really highlighting all of these, I don't know if you can really see the colors here, but it's like all this light purple, you know, the lavender, the lilac, and surrounding the moon, it's this pink that kind of resembles those colors. Like, I think that your new battle, like, as you approach this new way of being, is learning how to take off that armor and embrace the calm. Spirit just really wants you to embrace the good emotion without feeling that need to dig deeper, without feeling that need to do more shadow work. You know what I mean? Like, we're always gonna have to do some shadow work, but there's a balance here that needs to take place. Like, I know this isn't the traditional meanings of the cards, right? But, like, with these two cards paired with everything I've been saying, like, I'm getting such a, like, I'm feeling like muscle tension, like just holding on, like wait, like, don't relax yet, like and like, why? I think that we haven't really taken that armor fully off. It feels more comfortable and again, more safe to keep the armor on and to be prepared for the war, the battle, the difficult emotions that may arise, rather than embrace and lean into the calm that is waiting for you. Oh man. There's something coming in quick, though. Like, like, all of this work that you've done, there's something coming in, and it's coming in fast. And Spirit wants you to relax. This is a period of relaxing before the next, like, round of tension. But this round of tension isn't going to be a bad tension, it's a good tension. I'm getting, like, busy. Like, it's going to be busy. We have High Speed Steel, Crocodile Dreams. Like, your dreams are coming in, and they're coming in quick. And it's being, this also popped out, Spring Reflection. It's the reflection of all the work that you've done, all of the shadow work that you've done, all the blockages that you've cleared out, just everything. Like, and it's coming in quick. And so Spirit's really asking you to take a second and just lean into the calm that is, because something's coming in, and it's coming in quick. And that phrase may trigger someone, right? Because the last time that something came in quick, it was destructive and it was painful, and like, but this time it's good, and it's a reflection of all the work you've done. Anything else? Because I feel like I'm kind of getting repetitive. And I was kind of expecting this to get more about how this ties into the other collective, and in a way where it kind of ties them together, but I think that this is just the main focus right now. I'm getting here, like, you might feel off balance, like things might be off balance, or feel that way. I'm also getting here, like, maybe like some kind of insomnia, or staying up later than usual, or just your sleep schedule being disrupted. And I'm getting that, like, there's something imbalanced right now, but there's a rebirth, like, right around the corner. Like, it's waiting for you. And once that rebirth happens, things are going to shift back into balance, back into alignment. And this is going to be bittersweet for you. I do think that it's going to be so good, because, again, we're going back to this new kind of territory where you're able to reside in that calm, again, I keep getting like nervous system. But there is a bittersweet aspect to this. There's a little bit of grief, grieving this journey that you've walked and the things that are tied to it. And this is going to spread. This is a very potent, powerful energy that is going to, like, this energy, this shift within you is going to spread throughout the collective that you're in, but also it's going to affect other collectives. And again, we have here, there's something, I know this isn't like the traditional, things that are associated with the card usually, but like you have something to give. This is going to affect others, and then you have something to give again, possibly to this second wave, this second collective. And it's crazy. Like, I'm seeing I'm actually being moved, moved emotionally here with this card. Like, I'm trying to get it in frame. Like, Spirit has gifted you your awakening, and this is the journey, and this is the process, and there was the battle, and there was the war, and but at the end of the day, it was such a valuable gift. And I'm getting that there's new people in line, and Spirit's about to be passing out new spiritual awakenings, and that's just so, it's so beautiful. I do want to see, when it comes to getting back into balance, is there anything we can do? It is safe for me to be myself. I pray for an open, non-judgmental heart. In regards to the chakras, there is this, root chakra coming up. That might be something you want to work on. We have the sacral, the solar plexus, and the heart. I am feeling a big emphasis on the root chakra is showing up multiple times, but the heart and that solar plexus, I was getting like you might be having some, digestion issues or whatever. Here, that solar plexus and this heart. Back to before I even turned the cards, I was talking about the ego a lot again. And I think that you opening up your heart space is actually going to get, whatever blockage is in that solar plexus, whatever's lodged there, move upward, is what I'm seeing, through the body and back out. Because people want, it is safe for me to be myself. Moving forward in whatever this new beginning is, you're going to share more of yourself, and you need to feel that you are safe being yourself. Because other people need you to be yourself. This second collective needs you to step into that role of being yourself. And again, when it comes to being yourself, it is your true nature to operate in this calm nervous system. That's the truth of who you are. All the trauma, all the everything else that jacked you up, is not you, and not how you're supposed to operate moving forward. You've done a lot of healing, though. That's clear. But remember that open, non-judgmental heart when it comes to utilizing, whatever this is, doing it from the heart rather than the ego. I think that's about it. Try to stay calm. Embrace this pause, this rest, before things start picking up, because it's going to get good. Okay. Well, we have the Emperor here, which is a very powerful energy. Hmm. But I'm getting like the emphasis on like masculine energy, masculine ways. Yeah, here we have grow together, community, connection, reciprocation, find those who inspire you to bloom. And then we also have the shaman. Lunatic, insights, cosmos. Am I crazy or is it just the moon? Now, this card actually reminds me of the one card I pulled for the previous collective with the tree and the moon, how it was like dancing, and the hair here. So, I mean, this very well may be that, you know, throughout your journey, you may feel resonating with the title of shaman or interested in shamanism, but I'm actually getting with these cards together that you may find, because, you know, throughout our journey, typically we find other people that resonate, that kind of lead and guide us through our path in some kind of way. You know, when you remove the ego from all of it, it's like spirit works through the people to help guide others. So that's kind of what I'm getting here. You may start to find people, whether it's in your personal life or online, that you resonate with deeply, that inspires you in this way. There's like definitely a new beginning or an ending, or like, you know, both in the same breath, that's kind of, I think, triggering this awakening within you. Now I want to go back to this because there's a heavy masculine energy here, and not that there's anything wrong with that. This is a very powerful energy. But it's interesting how we have this feminine energy over here that's acting as an inspiration, that's acting as, there's like this community here where rather than seeing that feminine energy as a enemy, as an opposition, as a threat, it's like coming together to achieve something or come to a different conclusion. We have aloe vera here. Typically speaks of healing, you know, at least in my eyes. And this card always represents for me, like, they're daisies. Daisies might be significant, but this card specifically means, like, diversity to me. So you may be exploring, kind of stepping out of this firm masculine way of moving through the world, of perceiving things. I'm getting with this like natural healing remedies, or like holistic healing, or like alternative methods of healing. That there's like a diverse, like you don't have to just go the pharmaceutical route. You don't have to just go like these very masculine ways, I want to say, that have been so prevalent within the masculine world that we've been living in. And along with this, we have the forest canopy and the Zen garden. Again, there might be like something about like herbal, an interest in like herbal remedies or something coming through here, or healing through food, or something like that. I'm safe, secure, and stable. This speaks to the root chakra. The root chakra is all about being grounded and like in your physical reality and safe and secure and stable, you know? It's the base of our root, of our chakra system. See, like typically I wouldn't look at this card alone in this way. But because it's pairing with all these other ones, and because we're kind of, there's just a lot going on around it, it's shifting the way that I actually perceive this card. Where, like, yes, the Emperor, and again, typically I wouldn't see this way unless it was reversed, but I'm getting a very dominating energy, and not necessarily in a positive way. I'm getting that, like, when you're leaning too heavily in a masculine energy, things are thrown off balance, right? And I'm getting that there is a very grounded energy here with, you know, the Emperor, the masculine energy, the safe, secure, stable root chakra. But I'm almost getting it through a, like, I have to dominate in order to establish my security. I have to dominate in order to establish my stability. I have to dominate. I have to, like, take over. I have to, like, you know what I mean? There's a way about it. And I don't know why it's jumping out to me that way, but it is. Where, you know, here's the Queen of Pentacles, right? We still have, like, that stability, that safety, that security. There's still that red reference linking it to that root chakra card. But it's got a completely different tone to it. And this is not in any way to, like, hating on masculine energy, right? Like, it's necessary. But when things are thrown out of balance, and the thing is that in this world, we have been living in a very heavily masculine world. That's just the way it is. Like, it's taken over. And I think that, like, globally, like, on such a huge level, on such a huge collective, on a massive way, things are shifting in a way where things are kind of balancing out. So there is this rise of a feminine energy in some sort of way. But that doesn't necessarily discredit the masculine, right? So, and that's the thing, is that viewing it through the scope of a feminine lens, it's less likely to have that competitive, dominating, like, energy. Not that it can't at times. There's definitely, like, toxic feminine energy, but it's coming to a point where it's like, okay, how can feminine and masculine energy live in unison in order to achieve what needs to be achieved? Because clearly when one takes over, things are thrown out of balance and it causes chaos. So in general, overall, what I'm getting with this is, like, I think that if you are a part of this collective, it's, like, kind of reaching that, I'm getting, like, a shift in perspective or something, where it's like, we don't have to take the masculine approach every time. That, like, the feminine approach may have value. It may have something there that, you know, for a long time it wasn't seen that way. But like, there's this newfound, we have the High Priestess here. Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, we do have this very powerful masculine energy, but we also have pretty profound feminine energy showing up. Some sort of an awakening that, like, is, like, the way that I have done things, or the way that the world does things, or, like, the way that it is, like, doesn't actually have to be the way that it is. You know? And there's that inspiration over here. Like, I'm getting, like, interest in different esoteric things, or, again, the holistic healing or herbal remedies, like, alternative ways of moving through the world, or getting things done, or there's just, like, a new approach, I think, that's rising up. Like, just maybe tuning more into your senses and your intuition, like, learning to, rather than your logic, or rather than going on autopilot, really tuning into the energy and being this conscious. This card here is all about, like, conscious consumption. It's really paying attention to the things that you're taking in, and not necessarily about food. I mean, it can be, it is, but also about like what you're listening to, you know, the music, what you're watching, just all of the energy that you're taking in at any given time and how that affects you. So, you know, you might experience some kind of sensitivities, whether it's to food or whatever else. You're being asked to remain in that heightened awareness rather than being thrown back into that autopilot. Because that autopilot is kind of a byproduct and a result of the masculine world that kind of was. And not that it disappears, but there is this rise of like feminine energy. Yeah, I'm seeing that you're learning to not only find that safety, that sense of safety, security, and stability through like the masculine methods. So the masculine is a lot about doing, a lot about action, where the feminine leads more on being. A lot of the time, there's that internal introspection, like the inwards journey, and the masculine's more about the outwards journey, the physical, the material. And I think that you're learning, not that this isn't important, that masculine way, but there is this Queen of Pentacles, that feminine aspect to it all. Nuts and bolts. Yeah, I think that there's like work to be done in this area. And I do think that you are being led to lean into those, if you are, again, interested or feeling led to do more research on herbal remedies or, you know, whatever it is, there's something here. I trust in the divine and in God's plan. Now, I also think that with this, and it's not that masculine energy can't do these things, but especially in these cards here, like what I'm seeing, and I want to show the side by side. So here we have this masculine energy and these two feminine energies, and they have their crowns here, and so this speaks to the crown chakra. His crown, a lot of the energy, like a lot of the lines, right, and the details are going downward, where with both of these feminine energies, their crowns are open, right? It's open, there's energy going out and up, out and up. And so there's kind of this contrast here. And I think that, again, not that the masculine can't have, you know, the masculine has the crown, right? But when you're leaning too heavily in that masculine, what's coming through here is that with this card, it's like, rather than trusting in the divine, because they have this open crown, right, all the way up, receiving from the divine, from what's above, rather than, because that's that feminine energy there, rather than leaning into that, I trust in the divine and God's plan, it kind of turns into, I trust in my plan. You know, the energy's kind of directed downwards. There's kind of like this blockage that happens. And again, you know, this is all just what's intuitively coming through the cards. But I do think that by leaning more into these feminine energies, or again, looking into these feminine methods, or not like seeing it as an opposition, it can actually give you a deeper connection to the divine. And again, with these two cards here, I'm safe, secure, and stable. I trust in the divine and in God's plan. There's that emphasis there on the root chakra. Again, I do recommend, if you're interested, in the grounding, you know, kind of thing that I mentioned earlier. But, like, I'm getting, at least with the High Priestess, not that, again, it's like, I am safe, secure, and stable. It's like the masculine energy feels that way in the physical, while the feminine energy feels that way in the spiritual. Because the high priestess, you know, navigates the spiritual realm. That's what she does. Not that the high priestess isn't comfortable in the physical, and that, you know, this masculine energy, the emperor, isn't able to in the spiritual. You know what I mean? But I'm just seeing there's this kind of difference in comparison happening here. I was shuffling and I realized that the sun reversed was just sitting in my deck. Yeah, this card's all about natural healing. I think that you're really kind of embarking on this journey of self-discovery and kind of discovering the things that truly make you happy. Or that, like, this also speaks to, like, the inner child. That, like, lights up that inner child, that truly brings that sense of happiness. And I also think that that will help to bring that deeper connection with the divine, also with yourself. Okay, I think I am nearing the end of this. I'm just like layering all these cards here. I usually don't keep going. I think that there's some kind of healing. Again, it might go back to this, the sun reversed, right? It might be some sort of emotional healing, honestly. There's a lot of healing here. There's a lot of, you know, we have the aloe vera, this healing card, that healing card, and again, back to this consumption. But there is something also here about the emotions. There is an emotional healing journey that needs to take place in order for things to manifest. There's some kind of truth here. There's some kind of truth here that brings a lot of pain, but also has the potential to bring a lot of healing if it's addressed. And there's something within the emotional space that is affected by this. Yeah, and I think you're being forced to look at it. Here's the truth. Just the truth. There's no agenda there. It's just, this is what it is. The truth, the truth, the truth. And how you respond and react to it is dependent on where you stand regarding it, around it. Does that make sense? But it's almost like this, in this card, it's like, this is the truth. It is what it is. And I'm getting it's almost like you bounce back and forth between two perspectives. You view it from this perspective and you bounce back, and you view it and it goes back and forth and back and forth. Now, I don't know if that's like I see the truth and there's deception, I see the truth and there's deception, like, that's possible, but I'm kind of just seeing it linking right to that card, where you're seeing like two sides of this. But I think you're deciding which perspective to move forward with. And again, there's something with the emotions there. These just popped out when I was shuffling. We have gentle shadows, bare minimum, doe eyes, and forever. And I'm getting that this is like the two perspectives that you bounce back and forth between. My candle just broke off of my candle. How about that? So I don't know what this is entirely. It is giving relationship vibes. Oh, there's a card under here too. Hold on. Oh. Wishing well. So whatever this is, it doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be whatever situation. It's like you view it from this one perspective that is like, we have gentle shadows here. It's like a darker energy, bare minimum. Like, I'm getting the bare minimum in this situation. And then it flips, and there's this doe eyes, like, infatuated, wishing well, like, this is my wish, my dream, this is my wish come true, and forever, like, this is what I want forever, you know? And you bounce back and forth between the two. But I think with this truth coming here, there's, like, clarity. You're choosing a perspective and going with it, you know? And I don't know why, like, this almost is giving me, like, hypnotism, but I don't know if there's, like, actual deception here, or if this is just trickery, like, of the mind, like, if it's an internal deception, or... The Death card is like, yeah, this is over, I'm done, I'm ready to leave this situation, like, this is done for. The Chariot reversed is like, stop, don't go. Like, wait, pause, don't move, like, very back and forth. Man, I'm just, like, piling. I have to stop at some point. Stop, don't go. Like, I have to stop. Because I can't just keep doing this. I told myself I would go till this candle went out, but it is, I mean, it's at the end, but it is going strong still. I'm trying to get some advice, because I don't want to leave it just like, okay, now we know. Like, I don't know what to tell you. With this, I'm getting, try not to take any premature action, or, you know, action without enough information. Like, don't take action until you really know what you want. Don't take action until you really know for sure, like, and have the clarity and have the perspective and see the truth for what it is. Like, don't do this rushing. And, you know, this can get us into trouble sometimes, that Knight of Wands, if we just kind of act on it. But you're being asked to pause, and I'm getting that might be why there's this back and forth, like this, go, don't go, you know, that kind of unstable, confusing energy is because you intuitively know, like, this. You intuitively know, like, not to act prematurely or jump the gun or whatever. Is that the right word? The right phrase? Jump the gun? I don't know. I'm not great with phrases, but it's putting you in this space of, like, internal conflict. But you're not being led to take any abrupt action right now. But you're definitely in that energy of being tossed back and forth. So I don't know what that's about. Transcend. Like, this is so weird because I feel like I'm, like, in the energy of this. Like, I don't know how to word it. Like, I feel like I'm lingering almost, but, like, it feels like it's time to go, but I'm not being released. Give to the mind and it gives back. The mind, inspiration, mood, and cycle. I do think that this is some kind of cycle that happens. The go and then don't and then go, and then you stay in that loop. But there is liberation here. Like, it's a cycle that plays out, but this isn't, like, it breaks. There's a broken cycle that's here. But you're not being asked to move on it yet because you still don't know which perspective to carry. You need to know which perspective to carry in order to know what direction to move in. And you're in the process of getting that clarity, but you're not quite there yet. And there's something about the mind that there's definitely like a situation you're in that this is pertaining to, but there's something about your mind alone that you need to witness this cycle that plays out. You need to become aware of the cycle within you. Yeah, we're still going. I'm going till this candle goes out, and it is just taking its time, and I'm still feeling like pulled by this energy. So sorry that this is so lengthy. I guess those that are still here will be the ones that resonate with it, but there's something about these two perspectives where one is based in the emotional space and one is based in the physical space. I feel like I'm just going to keep pulling cards that are confirming this same energy. I think that there's a level of work that you have to do, you know what I mean? I'm just here to point it out. I mean, it is interesting how when we go back to the beginning of the reading, our big pile over here, that we were being shown this masculine energy, which would be represented by more of the land, right? The, I want to say reality, but like the physical, you know, half of her is on land and the other half is in the water, and the waters represent the emotional space. So she's like in between both, but like, and with this perspective here, it's like there's one that's leaning heavily in the emotional space and one that's leaning heavily in the logic of something, the rational, like I don't know, the physicalness of it all versus the emotional. But it is interesting how, again, at the beginning, we were kind of looking at that masculine energy, and then we were kind of being led to embrace more of the feminine, and which would be tied more to the emotional space, to the water, rather than the land, the physical, the logical. So, you know, it's just kind of interesting. At the beginning, we were being told to lean more into the emotional. Am I saying that that's the perspective that you need to take? I don't know. I think that it's a journey that you need to figure out, but it is interesting also here. Even though she's half, you know, she's in these two worlds, the physical and the emotional. But there's like more water, really, if you think about it, because she's pouring water out onto the physical. So it's hard for me to determine right now whether there's an excess amount of emotionals that's like bleeding into the reality and distorting the logic, or if you're supposed to lean more into the emotions because that holds the true perspective. Like, not that one is true and one is false. I think that they both hold weight and they're both relevant. But when it comes to knowing, like, discerning, transcending this situation, like, there's something there. I'm just realizing that both of these cards, the girls, the women, are topless, which is significant. I hope I can show this on YouTube. I don't know if there's like restrictions against images like that, but again, with this back and forth energy, it's like I'm hearing, should I stay or should I go now? You know, that song. But there is heartache here. There is something, like a harsh truth. There is a painful, like, thing here that is, like, the truth of the situation. And you know it. Like, I'm getting, like, yes, I know, but, yes, I know, but, yes, I know, but. I know the situation. I know, like, again, I guess I'm getting, like, I know the truth of the situation. I know the logic of the situation. I know what happened. I know, but, like, all these emotions. And it's like, like, I don't know. Again, I'm just looking at all this, like, it's coming through every time I pull. Every time I pull any cards, it's like, go, stay, go, stay, go, stay. Like, this is pointing outwards, and this is pointing inwards, and it's like, like, and this, like, I don't know if I'm gonna get any answers, really, right now. I think it's just gonna keep, yeah, this is causing you distress, mental anguish. I just don't know what to do, but I can't walk away. I can't find the, can't walk away. I don't know. Is it the logic or the emotions that's preventing the walking away, or both? Basically, like, I'm also seeing, like, there's, like, oh, like, I could leave, and then, like, I could stay, and all these different possibilities going in all these different directions. And then there's this, like this threshold, that I think you're stuck at. You're stuck at that threshold of, like, I'm bouncing back and forth, and, like, that was crazy. I, like, could not get out of that, like, energy, and I feel like that's kind of what it feels like, whatever the situation is. Like, it's like, I was just, like, looping, and I was seeking answers, and I would get some kind of answer, but it wouldn't be as solid as, like, what I was looking for, so I would be in this loop, and I'm, like, doing it again. Like, I had to clear my space, and I'm telling myself, like, I just have to pull a few more cards to really, like, close this out. Like, I feel like I couldn't get out of the energy, almost, like I was just looping, and I think that's kind of how it feels, like, when you're in it. Like, it's very cyclical, there's, like, a karmic element to it, and I think that's why it's so confusing, because it was like I would pull cards and I would get clarity, but it would just be the same, in a different imagery, the same thing repeating itself, the same information, like, displaying itself to me in different ways, but I wanted, like, a firm answer, and I was getting kind of a looser answer, if that makes sense. And so that kept me trapped in that, like, repetitive cycle. It was kind of crazy. I had so many cards. Like, I never pulled that many cards at once. Hangman. Yeah. But, like, even now, I'm like, oh, I'll just pull, like, let me start over. That's over, let's start over, let's try again. Like, I want to pull a few more, and I think, King of Cups. Mastering the emotional space, let's see. There's a lot of conflict here, but I think that's inner conflict. There's, like, an internal conflict that's taking place. This is all these different possibilities. Like, there's two different perspectives. There's two different like, solutions, staying or going. But then within that, there's all this, like, all of these different, but all these possibilities within that one possibility. Does that make sense? And there's, like, all this conflict. It's causing this internal conflict. I don't see it as external. It can be, like, manifesting as external. But with this here, it's, like, trapped within your own self. Almost. Let me see. See, I feel myself, like, I want to close this out so bad. I'm going, like, I've been in this reading for so long. It's actually insane. But I, like, can't leave. against all odds. I don't know what that's about. Against all odds. There is this, like, new... What is this? I don't know. Like, see, it's kind of hard to decipher, it almost feels like. Like, I don't know if this is a new beginning away from whatever this is, or if it's a new cycle of it starting. But there's this bittersweet. See, the molasses part kind of makes me feel like it's like sticky, like we're still stuck in something. Again, there's so many, this is like actually insane. There's so many conflicting energies. We have stillness and stampede. And, you know, when I pair it with the cards, it's like the stampede of this conflict and the stillness, but this stillness isn't, it's not a calm stillness. It's really not. It's being trapped in your own thoughts, being trapped in your own mind. Like, there may be an external stillness, there may not be external conflict. But... Alright, can you give me, like, some advice or something? I wanted to call out. You are working towards something, though. There is some kind of progress being made. I need, like, some advice. I need a conclusion. Because I can't do this all night. But I can't leave. Like, I can't leave. It's the strangest thing. I'm, like, very... immersed in it, and I think that's what the energy really feels like. I don't think this is where I need the answer. You're making progress, and I think that the more that you master those emotions that we were talking about, this is the King of Cups, so it's still that masculine energy, but it has that element of being in tune with the internal world, the way that the feminine energy typically is, right? Whatever this cycle is, like, is a major obstacle for you. The only thing I'm a little hesitant about is, like, we're getting here the King of Cups, which is pointing us towards the emotional work, which is that internal work, and I fear there is this concern here about getting lost in the, when you do that, when you turn inward, there's kind of getting lost in the thoughts, being held captive by the thoughts, being paralyzed by the thoughts. Now, the thoughts and the emotions are very different things, but they're both within that internal world, which is where this work needs to take place. I don't want you to get lost in the thought while you're trying to navigate these emotions here. But it's through the emotions that you can kind of receive more of that clarity. I'm actually seeing this as a union almost of mind, body, and spirit, where the mind has the emotion, has the thoughts, which impacts the emotions, and the emotions I personally see as like almost in between the mind and the body, because it's so tied to the thoughts, like they're so interconnected, thoughts and emotions, but there is a physical element within the body, right? A thought is just a thought. An emotion is almost like a thought paired with a bodily sensation, it almost seems like, that takes over. And then spirit, obviously, like, you know. And I think spirit's trying to, reassure you that, like, you're gonna find your way through this, reassure you and guide you on this path, but there is something there. I think I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna pull a couple of these just to see within the chakras if there's anything there. But again, see, like, meditation is important, but I have something here with, like, getting lost in those thoughts. There's something about the thoughts. And we're not trying, I mean, not that we don't need to be aware of the thoughts, but right now the thoughts are taking over, it seems like. It's causing, like, havoc. It's keeping you in that push and pull, like, but it's the emotions. There's something in the emotion. I'm grateful for my intuitive abilities. Because in the midst of all of these thoughts that are keeping you captive, there is, like, a stream of intuition that's trying to come through. But again, I wouldn't really get lost in that right now. I'm compassionate. I let go of any judgment. Okay. I think I'm going to leave it here. But I do want to highlight, you know, we have the heart chakra popping up twice here. So, and, you know, the heart many times is associated with emotions. Specifically, like, grief comes up a lot.